Hey, it's your girl Nicole, and welcome back to another episode of the Risers Hub podcast. Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm so happy that you're here. So a big air hug to you, and I hope you had a great weekend. I just got back from New York City. I was invited by my daughter to go to the Athlos Track and Field competition, and it was amazing. This competition was given by Alexis Ohanian. He is the co-founder of Reddit, and you probably know him more so as Serena Williams' husband. And let me tell you something. This was an amazing event, and I'm definitely going to talk about it more, but I want to track back to last week when we were talking about imposter syndrome and holding space. One thing I got to do while I was in New York was go to the Museum of Modern Art. I love museums. I can be in there all day. And I came across a piece by Richard Serra, and it was called Equal. And it was these 8 forged steel units stacked in pairs, these big, huge squares. And they measured 5 by 5, I think 5 by 5.5 by 6. And they weighed 40 tons. And there were these very big, dark squares, obviously very heavy, and this big white space. And I was really taken aback by this piece because for me, as a creative, it was basically explaining everything that I explained in last week's podcast in a piece of art. So bear with me for a minute, okay? Now think about big, massive squares. Again, 5 by 5.5 by 6 feet. And they each weigh 40 tons. They're massive. And they're in this white space. And when you got close to each of these blocks, they were unique in their own way because there was like this etching in each block, which made them different, right? But each one of them held a space. And even though the ground was their foundation, the white space was their foundation, they were also each other's foundation. And so this is the part I want you to bear with me. When you walk into this room, you're taken aback by these big squares. And they're just holding space. And they're holding space in such a strong, profound way that it's shocking for those who walk in that room. And so last week when I was telling you about being authentic and not giving into imposter syndrome and to hold your space, no matter what you think you might be there for, just like those blocks, they were built to be in that space. Just like you built yourself to be in your space and take up space. And when people walk into your space, they're taken aback by your uniqueness and your authenticity. And that's what makes you great. And that you are your own foundation, just like those blocks were their own foundation. And so I hope that someone can take away something from what I just said. And I know for many of you that could be a stretch, but that is the first thing I thought of when I walked into that room and saw these pieces. We're just like those blocks. And we have every right to hold whatever space we want to hold, as long as we have the talent and we're educated and we have the drive to be there. That is your space. And you hold it and you stand up strong, just like those big blocks of squares that I saw this past weekend. All right, so let's go back to this groundbreaking track and field competition, and it's called Athlos. And it's a meet that highlights the best female track and field athletes in the world and celebrates their incredible achievements and dedication to their sport. Now, for me, I still get starstruck by the likes of like Alexis Holmes. She's amazing. She's currently ranked 6th in the world in the 400 meters. And her role in the legendary 4x400 meter gold medal relay team in Paris, along with Gabby Thomas, which I stood right across from, who's a 3-time Olympic gold medalist. And it's just amazing because they're just like you and I. as far as like laughing and joking and supporting each other and making fun of each other and just being in the moment. They're just incredible people. I got to meet Brittany Brown, who's a powerhouse in the 100 and 200 meter sprints. And these women are setting new standards, and Athlos is offering the recognition they deserve with prize money reaching to $60,000. That's double what athletes receive at the Diamond Leagues overseas. Winners even received a custom Tiffany crown, making this event not just a race, but a statement. And if you think about it, track and field is dominated by women of color. And this event was just like handing them their flowers while they're still in their sport. And handing them flowers, whether they came in first or last, they were there. And then the winners got a crown and they got prize money and everybody got entertained by Meg Thee Stallion. Like, it was an amazing event. Watching these athletes in action, from the way they prepare, warm up, cool down, and carry themselves with an unwavering focus, you realize something important. Greatness isn't just about talent. It's about relentless commitment, mental discipline, and executing every single detail with precision. So, of course, this event and the athletes made me think about lessons that we could learn from them as elite performers. What can everyday people like you and I do right now to tap into that same drive and perform at our absolute best in any field that we hold space in? Now, if you don't mind me saying, when you're talking to these athletes, they really are just like you and me. Like, their drive and determination comes from within. They're no different from us. They laugh, they joke, they get humbled by compliments. They just know how to push themselves past what you and I might see. Because at some point in their life, I'm sure they figured out they had this talent, or they had the love for the sport, and there was somebody who threw a hurdle in front of them. No pun intended, hurdlers. And they had to try and get over it. And they found a way to get over it. Whether they had the talent and no resources, or they had all the resources and very little talent, they found a way to be elite athletes. And I just think that there's a way for us to find a way to be our elite selves, whatever that means to you. So I've come up with 7 strategies to help us perform at the highest level. I'm going to rattle them off first, and then I want to go back and talk about each one of them. So bear with me, grab your pens, notebooks, and phones, and let's write a few things down. Number 1, set a clear and specific goal. You've heard me say it 1,000 times, but I got more examples. Number 2, establish a routine and stick to it. Number 3, practice consistently. Number 4, develop mental toughness. If you're on a wellness journey, with me, we know about developing mental toughness. And number 5, find the right mentors and community to help you thrive. Number 6, prioritize rest and recovery. That's in there. And number 7, stay flexible and adapt to change. That one's really for me because I don't really like change, but I will let it happen. All right, so let's go back up to number 1. Set a clear and specific goal. Decide exactly what you want to achieve and break it into smaller, actionable steps. We've heard this before. So for example, if your goal is to run a marathon, and not every example is going to be about running, I promise, okay? Start by setting smaller goals like running a 5K, and then maybe a 10K, and then a 15K. And each step should have a clear target like, let me reduce my 5K time by 30 seconds, or let me try and run 20 kilometers without stopping. This way you can measure your progress and stay motivated. Number 2, establish a routine and stick to it. Now, I can establish a routine all day long, but for me to stick to it, there's too many squirrels running past me. But it is possible because if I can stick to it, I know that you can stick to it. Top performers rely on routines to stay disciplined. So create a daily plan that includes time for focused work, exercise, and rest. For instance, if you want to build a writing habit, set a specific time each morning to write for about 30 minutes. Even when you don't feel like it, do it anyway. This will help you stick to your routine and keep you on track. Number 3, practice consistently. We all know the 10,000 hour rule, right? It suggests it takes thousands of hours of focused practice to achieve expertise. For example, if you want to learn how to play the piano, practicing 30 minutes every day over several weeks, months, years will develop your skills far more than a sporadic session. Repetition builds mastery. The one thing that I hear Nia talk about a lot is running the 800 over and over and over again, or running 200s over and over and over again in practice. And she's got to do this over and over and over again every single day. So when she toes the line, she's prepared for anything. And that is being consistent. Consistency is very important. Number 4, develop mental toughness. Success isn't just about the physical, it's a lot about the mental. Practices like meditation, positive self-talk, and visualization help build resilience. For example, if you're training for a competition, visualizing yourself performing well can reduce anxiety and improve confidence. Strong mental habits help you stay calm and focused even when things don't go as planned. I've heard Gabby Thomas in several interviews talk about visualization. She's the 3-time gold Olympic winner of the 200 meters, I think the 4x1 and the 4x4. She's incredible. And what she does is she visualizes herself running the race and winning the race before competition. What I love about Gabby is her drive to win. And the way she runs, you can tell she puts everything on the line. You can see all of her hard work in her face, the way she moves on that track. Number 5, find the right mentor and community. Now, I'm saying mentor, but it could be several mentors. Surround yourself with people who can guide and support you. Athletes have coaches and peers who push them. In your case, seek out mentors or join groups where people are working towards similar goals. For example, if you're learning a new programming language, join a coding community, okay? Or find experienced mentors to review your projects. A strong network will accelerate your growth. Start with a meetup. Find a local club. Find like-minded people and share your ideas and collaborate. Number 6, prioritize rest and recovery. Just like athletes need rest, you need downtime to recharge. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, and relaxation. For instance, if you're pushing through a big project at work, set aside a day, one day each week for a complete rest day. Now, going back to establishing a routine and sticking to it, which was number 2, it's very important when you're establishing that routine to prioritize rest and recovery, putting that in the routine. This will help prevent burnout and gives your mind space to come up with even more creative solutions. And number 7, stay flexible and adapt to change. This one's really hard for me because I love the idea of change. I really, really do. But I do have a problem with change sometimes. Now, I'm at an age now where I let change happen and I push through it because I know that once I get to the other side, I'm going to be all right. But when you see change coming, don't run away from it. run towards it. Be open to adjusting your approach as needed. If something isn't working, like a study method or a workout plan, change it. For example, if your diet plan isn't giving you energy, experiment with new foods. Treat setbacks as learning experiences, not failures. Part of being an elite athlete is adapting to change. An elite athlete, a good athlete, will practice their 10,000 hours, and within those 10,000 hours, a coach, they will try and come in and throw a monkey wrench in the middle of a perfectly good practice to see if the athlete will be thrown off their game. Let me give you an example. Tiger Woods' dad. We all know about Tiger Woods' dad, how he would take him out to the golf course and he would purposely make noises and repeat racial slurs to his own son while he was trying to play golf. He was trying to build resilience. He was trying to build his focus. And that's the same thing that you're going to try and do when you stay flexible and adapt to change. So when you're in the middle of, doing whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and a monkey wrench is thrown in there, or some slurs are thrown in there, or some words are thrown in there, you won't be knocked off your game because you have these 7 strategies to get you to where you want to be. Okay? So what is your version of performing at the highest level? Apply 1 of 7 or all 7 of these strategies and see how they can elevate your own game. In the meantime, stay inspired, stay driven, and until next time, let's keep rising.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Remember, this podcast is meant for both education and entertainment purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, so it's crucial to consult your physician, psychotherapist, or qualified health professionals for personalized advice. Until next time, take care. If you're enjoying this podcast, I would like to ask you to please subscribe, like, and share. That's what they told me to do at the end of this podcast. So could you hook me up? Thanks. Bye.